Buckle up, sports fanatics. This is the Sports Chasers Podcast, your HQ for in-depth sports talk. Join host Kevin L. Warren and crew as they dissect the hottest stories, ignite debates, and bring you closer to the action. From locker room whispers to expert takes, we cover it all. It's game time, so strap in and grab a drink. The Sports Chasers Podcast starts right now.
What up, everybody? What's going on, everybody? It's another edition of the Sports Chasers Podcast coming to you live and direct. Tonight, as our announcer always says at the very end, we cover it all. Guess what? Tonight, we cover it all, man. We're going to talk about pickleball tonight. We got a special guest. But before we get to our special guest tonight, make sure you like, click, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure on the podcast side, in the sound of my voice, make sure you give us that five-star review. And make sure you hit the bell for the notifications when this comes out, man. Let's meet the crew. D-Dubs, what's up? What's going on tonight? What's happening, man?
Hey, man. Salute, guys. How y'all doing? You know, it's Tuesday night, man. It is Tuesday, right?
Yeah, it is Tuesday night. I know. We be working, man. That's what's up. We be working. We getting that good content out, man. Getting that great content out. The DA, what's up? Plan your work your plan. What's happening, bro? How are you tonight?
Oh, man, I'm good, man. Ready to do this. This actually woke me up, man. I'm sitting in my chair at work from home. Man, it was on the meeting at 4:30. Got off at 4:30. I yawned. I looked again. I'm sitting in the chair. It's fucking 5:45. I said, God damn. Fell asleep at work. But, you know, that's the beauty of working from home. I hope ain't nobody hear me.
I was going to say, told me so.
It's too late now.
You want me to edit it out for you?
Too late.
Oh, yeah. That was a good nap, though, boy. I tell you.
Oh, man.
My son used to say power naps. I was a power nap. There you go.
Absolute power nap, man.
Power naps is necessary.
Absolutely. So, listen, like we said, we cover it all, man. We actually had a ping pong player up here a couple months ago. My main man, Wally Green, man. Hey, we got pickleball tonight on deck on the topic, man. Let me give our guest his proper introduction. Evan Kuterbach. He is a Florida-based entrepreneur with over a decade of experience in corporate tech, driven by a desire for more freedom and time with his family. He transitioned from corporate sales to entrepreneurship, building a successful copywriting business and co-founding, get this, Canyon Pickleball, a brand dedicated to community and the outdoors. Evan is passionate about creating businesses from the ground up, connecting authentically with customers, and sharing insights on entrepreneurship, resilience, and meaningful growth. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's meet our guest tonight, Mr. Evan Kuterbach. Let me give him some applause.
Big E.
Thank you, guys. I'm super pumped to be here, man. I'm super excited. I'm excited to bring more people into the pickleball family, man. This is awesome.
Man, when Evan reached out to me, I believe it was on Podmatch. Shout out to Podmatch again. Podmatch keeps doing it again. Shout out to my main man, Alex Sanfilippo, for a wonderful product, man, and bringing content creators again and people trying to get their story out, man. Wonderful product. Alex, thank you, man. Appreciate you. But when Evan, I saw this, I said, man, I've seen pickleball and I've seen like people do things about it. And I was like, man, this would be fascinating to talk about it. So when I told the guys, they say, hey man, let's go ahead and let's do it. So me and Evan connected a couple weeks ago I think on a Friday we talked. Mm-hmm. And Evan, I'm gonna give it to you, man. Evan, where you from? I think go ahead, give me a little bit about you before we talk about it.
Yeah. So I see the Texans hat there, man. So it's funny. I'm from Dallas originally. I'm not a Cowboys fan though. My family's
good. Get some more applause.
My family, yeah. So don't worry about that. But so I was born and raised in Dallas. I'm from kind of the south side, like DeSoto, Cedar Hill area. And I raised there, kind of bounced around after that. But my family's from Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, so they're kind of split on the Eagles and Steelers side. But yeah, so I was born and raised in Dallas, and then kind of bopped around a little bit. But I've always kind of been outdoorsy. So I was a baseball player growing up. That was my main sport. I got into some swimming, got into some tennis, got into some basketball. I didn't actually get my height until probably like junior year of high school. I'm 6'3" right now, but I was probably like 5'5" up until junior year. So basketball and those kind of sports weren't really on my radar until I got later into college. So, but yeah, I've always been an athlete.
Got you, man. I'm gonna just start off with a banger. Why is everybody so enthralled with pickleball? What is going on? Tell us this phenomenon about this. Yes.
Man, so I'll tell you. I mean, I've played probably every sport you can imagine, probably similar to you guys, and I would say it comes down to two things. The first being it is so easy to get into, and by that I mean the equipment is really affordable. You can pretty much play anywhere. I mean, you can play it on a court, obviously, which we'll get into, but you could just hit the ball around. But the equipment is really affordable. It's really easy to learn. But the biggest piece is that when you are playing with people, you're playing with people of all backgrounds. I mean, literally, there is no other sport in history that I can think that has a 10-year-old kid, an 85-year-old man, and a 40-year-old soccer mom all playing on the same court, and it's a competitive game. Like, there's no sport that you can tell me can do that. So I think it's just so accepting to anyone that comes into the sport that it really just feels like anyone can get into it. So I think that's what's blown it up.
Yeah, gotcha. It seems like a fat guy sport, so I love it. So you're a big fat guy play, so it's okay.
Man, everybody.
So what was the inspiration? You gave a little bit in your bio. What was the inspiration behind Canyon Pickleball?
Yeah. So I live here in Orlando, Florida right now, and I moved here about 2.5 years ago from Denver, Colorado. So I lived there for about 5 years, moved out here. We were trying to get closer to family. My wife's family is from Florida. And when we moved out here, I mean, I'll be honest, like I was in a pretty dark place. I was 31 at the time, 33 now. And I didn't know anyone. And I wasn't really sure, like, how do I make friends at 31 years old, right? Like I work from home. I had a tech job. I was like, what am I supposed to do? And so right before I left Denver, I learned pickleball from a buddy of mine. He kind of dragged me out on the court, was like, you got to try it out. And I was like, all right. It seems pretty stupid. It's with a wiffle ball. I was like, this is crazy, but I'm gonna give it a shot. And so I went out there. I had fun. And I was like, all right, cool. And then I moved to Florida. And when I moved, I was like, man, like I just like don't know how to meet people. And so I got my racket that was a free paddle from the same guy, and just showed up at my local court. There was people playing it, and I kind of just kept coming back. And when I learned like how just accepting the community was, and they were just like, yeah, keep coming back. Like, we want to see you around. And started making more and more friends. And as that was kind of going on, so that's like 2 years ago now, at the start of this year, I knew I really wanted to get into pickleball, but I wasn't sure, like, is it too saturated, right? Are there too many companies? But what I saw the gap was when I got into pickleball, the hard part was finding an affordable paddle. And like, there was pretty much just like the really cheap one, right? Amazon, Target, and there was like the pro level. And I was like, well, I'm not pro, and I don't want to buy the cheapest thing. So I was like, where's like the middle ground? And so I started thinking about how we could implement that. And then with my co-founder also being outdoorsy and all of that, we were like, okay, let's start thinking about this tie to the outdoors, bringing people outside. And so it kind of snowballed, honestly. It was pretty natural. And so then we started thinking about, okay, let's make the whole brand around being outside. So every paddle's inspired by the outdoors. We donate a portion back to the planet to help with climate change and preserving our national parks. We also use recyclable packaging. So it's like we're really trying to create this whole, like, give back to the outdoors, pay homage to just being outside. And, it's really for everybody. So
I like the fact that you. I like the fact. I'll get you D in a second. I like the fact that you say outdoorsy. I don't think our kids nowadays they don't get outdoors enough. Absolutely not.
A lot of screen time, but not outdoors.
100%. Yeah. I mean, I think
Go ahead, Evan.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say. I mean, I think like I'm 33, and I mean, I think kind of we're like the last generation really to being outside so much, right? I mean, I was still growing up in the time where my mom was like, just go in the garage and find things to play with, and we just me and my brother found whatever balls, we made whatever sport, and we just played outside till the lights came back on, right? So it's like that was what we did every single day, but it's just such a different environment now.
Yeah,
well,
gotcha. Go ahead.
Like for pickleball, sounds like it looks like from watching, it's also a sport where your child or kids do not have to be, as Dee said, Cooper Flag or like my kids were D1 athletes, right? So they both played football, basketball. But for kids who weren't, they could still play pickleball and be good at it, you
The
know.
5'5"
And
guy.
I think that's but I think that should be part of the appeal is getting your kids. Okay, you know, you want to fight screen time, bring them out to do this.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
he doesn't have to be, you know, super duper this, super duper that. Now I don't want to see
Totally.
AAU pickleball, but yeah, you know,
Hey.
It's coming, man. It's coming. I think
Hey
it's
man,
coming.
it might be a travel league coming, bro. So I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
coming
There was
to a town near you.
There was just in Daytona. They had like the collegiate pickleball tournament where 19 universities had their collegiate teams come into Daytona, and they did a whole tournament. So it's
that's
building
cool.
out pretty quick. It's building out quick.
Yeah. And so let me ask a question. So, Kevin,
Yes, sir.
can you show us the paddle, please, again?
So Evan was so kind and
I
nice
want to get to the
to bless me with this paddle. He sent me this paddle from his company from Canyon Pickleball. For all my New Yorkers,
Nice.
with you got the regular the paddle racquetball, and you have handball and stuff like that. Let me just show it again. So kind. Thank you, Evan, again for this.
Yeah,
I absolutely going to use it. So D had a question about
Let me ask you. So the paddle, because you said the cheap one, and Kev, maybe you can go on Amazon and pull it up for everyone. And what with the professional one? Like, what's the difference?
Yep.
Between the cheap one and the professional one that somebody may have. Like what? And I'll just add a second part to that question. Is there a difference in the way folks play with them based upon, the professional corner one and the one that you can get cheap? So there you go.
Yeah.
First technical
for
question.
sure. Yeah. So to answer the first part of the question, the biggest difference is when you're talking like really cheap paddles, it's made from really, really like flimsy plastic. So like really flimsy plastic, pretty much all around the entire body. Like if you go on Amazon, type in pickleball paddle, you'll see it's like, it when you hold it, it like feels just cheap. Like when you hold something, you can just tell it feels cheap. The biggest thing with really cheap paddles is it's really hard to learn with. Because the pickleball, so I got one here. I got my props here for you. So the pickleball itself is already smooth, right? And so if you've got a smooth surface, I got my paddle here too. If you've got a smooth surface on the paddle and you've got a smooth ball, the ball is just going to go flying, right? It's going to be so hard to control. You can't actually really get better at the sport. So a lot of the cheaper paddles, they're just like really, really smooth plastic. They're going to fall apart. So you might spend $20 for two paddles. And then in 2 weeks, you're going to be going to get another two paddles. And then you're going to be like, man, this sport sucks. I'm not getting better. So that's why we always say, like, if you want to just upgrade from your Amazon Target paddle, this is the best paddle because it's going to have really gritty texture on it. So you can feel like you're actually getting better. So it's super, super
spin
gritty.
on the ball.
Yeah. So Kevin, I mean, if you want some ASMR, man, you can hold up that paddle, that mic, and like you can scrape your fingers on it. Like it's gonna feel really gritty.
Yeah, you're right.
So that's going to help you get more control. Now, to your other question there, so the more pro level paddles, like there's companies that are putting millions and millions of dollars into R&D, right? And they're trying to create the newest, latest, greatest technology. But for the most part, of the hundreds of pickleball paddle companies that are out there, and there are hundreds now, really all of them are doing a lot of the same things. And I'll say from someone who has now worked with 3 different manufacturers, we have the same manufacturer. I'm not going to say the name, but we have the same manufacturer as one of the big guys. And I have seen their exact process. I've seen the exact thing. This is the same high quality level material. The difference is when you start adding a few little things of how you're playing with your game. So maybe our paddle, has a shorter handle, but other pro level paddles might have a longer handle. Maybe our paddle is going to be shaped this way, but other paddles are going to be a little wider or it's going to be a little longer. So it really just kind of depends on your style of play.
So from a rules perspective, it's not like, okay, you play baseball, right? So
Yep.
it's not like you can go in the major leagues and say, "Yeah, well, I got an aluminum bat."
Right.
Like, everybody's got
Right.
a wood bat, and you got a -0, and you damn near kill somebody with a line drive, right? You can't.
Yep.
So like, yeah, what?
So
There has to be something on the court where you see the come out there with the, the AR-15,
yep.
racket with like the red dot on it and everything else,
Yep.
paddleball, thing, and you got the regular one from Canyon, which is dope, and
Yep.
this is what people play with. Why? Like, do they play
Yeah.
against each other? Do you play a guy that has the pro one? Now, I mean, I'm sure you can
100
beat a guy that is, depending on how good they are. But go ahead.
Yeah, 100%. So, so to your first point, and this is a big piece that's happening within pickleball because, there is a board of, people that basically approve the paddles that are allowed. There are a lot of versions of paddles, a lot of styles of paddles, but here's the thing. They are changing those rules, changing what's allowed pretty often. And there have been many companies, many of the big guys, that are out there that have had banned paddles. Literally, they came out with the paddle, and then it's too poppy. It's basically like a corked bat, and the ball's flying off the paddle, and then they have to recall them. So there's a company that just had this happen. Again, I'm not going to bash them and say their name, but everyone, if you Googled it, you could find out. But they had to recall all of their paddles because it was illegal. And so that has been an issue right now where they're trying to figure out like how, I mean, basically like how juiced up can you make these paddles? Because let's be honest, like you're playing on the court. I mean, you're like 10 feet away from that person. And this ball, even though it's a wiffle ball, man, if this thing comes off at like, 50, 60 miles an hour and hits you square in the eye, that's not going to feel good. So this is a big thing that's happening. People are wearing goggles now in pickleball. It's starting to turn more into like a racquetball thing, honestly.
I was about to say, stay out the kitchen.
They got pine tar on the paddle.
Yeah, but what I always say to people, and this is to your second point, man, I mean, we are all playing on the same court. So, it's kind of like golf, right? Like I always say, like, if you're going to go out there and play golf, like you're going to see someone playing with like a $600,000 driver, but they're still going to shank it into the trees, right? And then you're going to see the person who's got like the $300 driver who hits it perfect. And are you going to say that, exactly. And so, that's the biggest thing is like, I tell people like, look, like until you really know what you're looking for in a paddle, like there is no middle ground paddle before like us and a few other people. And so people would just go from beginner to like $300. And I'm like, why are you spending that? Like, don't spend $300 on this until you really know what you need.
Because they got a little bit of money. That's all.
Exactly.
That's all it is.
Exactly. And so even then, like I'm using this paddle, and I tell you what, it's so funny because when I tell people this paddle's, 50 something bucks that we sell it for, and then they're like, man, like, it's almost like they're trying to justify why they spent 300. I'm like, I mean, I hear you, but
you're like, yeah, okay. Yeah. But,
Gotcha.
How do you find you talk about that? How do you find there's different, obviously the different levels you come to a pickleball game, because this is pretty big. I mean, you got a USA pickleball. So how do you know who judges you as far as like, I mean, if you take it to the next level of how good you are as a pickleball player?
Yeah. So similar to like tennis and a few other sports, there's like a national rating system.
Ranking. Okay.
And the hard part is that rating system is also being kind of tweaked at and evaluated.
Okay.
And honestly, I mean, I think really in the last 2-3 years, while pickleball's been blowing up, they're trying to catch up, right? A lot of these things are trying to catch up, like the rating system's trying to catch up, the paddle approval process is trying to catch up.
Okay.
And so the rating system is a big thing because, basically the rating, it works from 0.0 to 5.0. And once you're past 5.0, you're basically considered like professional level pickleball player. To give you an idea, I think I'm like a 4.3 or 4.4. So I'm not a pro level player, but I'm, a little below that or whatever. I have no interest also in becoming a pro player because I don't have the time and energy to drill and practice. But that's the hard part too, is like, people, some people's ratings are, 3.9, but maybe they're actually a 4.5 because the ratings are screwed up. So it's really hard. We're kind of in a little bit of a limbo in pickleball with the rating system.
Okay.
But you can still get out there and play and have fun. So,
Totally.
win
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you can still go
Yeah.
play.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And that's the best part too, right? Every court you go to, it's going to have different people, different skill levels. Pickleball is, it's different than even like when I was playing like, baseball, or even when I'd play some pickup, it's like, you'd go out there and like, it'd be tough to find a game if you were just learning, right? If you were just learning how to play baseball or just learning how to play basketball or football, like it's tough to kind of just pick that up. But when you go out on the pickleball court, I guarantee you there will be people there that are your exact same skill level. And that's pretty cool.
So let me ask you this, Evan. So now that I got this lovely paddle, right?
Yeah.
What is the recommended? And I know this sounds like an elementary question, but I want to make sure I'm doing right. I just looked, and there is a pickleball court literally 3 minutes from me, from my house. Me and you talk. So I live in South Florida, so 3 minutes from my house. So what is a pickleball player? What are they? What should they wear out there? What is permitted? Is there any kind of decorum?
Actually, that's a good question, man.
Yeah.
People about crazy, man.
What's the etiquette? That's the great question. What's the pickleball etiquette?
Pickleball etiquette.
Yeah, that's a great question. So I wear pretty much exactly what I wear to the gym. So, I'm wearing like a pair of shorts with some sliders under, and then I got just like a regular dry fit shirt, and I'll, throw on like a dry fit kind of hat. And then any tennis shoes, like, you don't need anything fancy, just whatever tennis shoes you got. There's nothing crazy. The one thing I will say is, oh no, go ahead.
I said they don't have like the pickleball ones and the pickleball twos like the Jordans. Like, yo, I got a pair of pickleball ones.
You got to
force pickleballs.
It's pretty crazy though now, because like if you go online, I mean, it's wild too, because now companies are jumping in. I mean, and you'll see like Nike's got pickleball shoes, they got pickleball gear, like you've got Adidas, like everyone's jumping in.
Gassing
I did not know that.
Everything, man, everything. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, like I was in Target the other day, and like Target had like this whole display of pickleball, and it's just like all this pickleball stuff, and so it's wild, man. So yeah, I mean, but you don't need anything crazy. Yeah, you
just
need
some athletic attire that you pretty
athletic
much
stuff, and you're good to go. Yeah.
I just want to make sure when I go out there with this paddle, I want to make sure I'm official. So some just regular gym clothes.
Yeah. What I will say too, man, if you want to get out there and play, do not buy a different colored ball. Buy these balls. Buy just a regular, these yellow balls. You can buy them at Walmart, Target, whatever, Amazon. But if you show up, and this is something I tell people, even if they're beginners, if you show up with like an orange ball or a blue ball or something else that's not this yellow ball, it's kind of like showing up like if you were to show up like, and I was playing baseball and someone all of a sudden had some like multicolored ball, I'd be like, what the hell is that? Like, why is that even here?
Yes.
Right? So a lot of companies are selling different colored balls, but I tell people just buy the yellow ball. Don't go crazy.
Okay. Now let me ask you a question. The weight on that ball, is it? I see it's a wiffle ball. It looks like a wiffle ball, like I'm used to is playing wiffle ball with a bat and ball. Is it the same type of weight, density type?
It's a little thinner of a material, I would say, than like a kind of traditional like white wiffle ball. The weight I want to say is like it's like 1.2 ounces maybe. I'm not sure what the exact weight of a wiffle ball is, but it's got this is also a big thing actually too. And if we're just gonna be geeking out about it, like I'm gonna go, I'm gonna geek out here. So one of the things that's super cool about pickleballs is there are different pickleballs that are used in different tournaments, right? So it's not like basketball, baseball, whatever. We've got like the same standard ball, football, same thing. You might have a different ball for a different tournament. So there's different companies making different balls. So they're all like, they all might be yellow. They all might, kind of feel the same, but they might have different holes. They might have different size holes. They might have different density a little bit. So the ball's going to be faster, going to be slower. So no matter what tournament you're playing, or if you're like even out there on the rec court, someone might show up with a different brand ball, and then you hit and you're like, dang, this thing went flying. So that's the hard part too, is there's not as much regulation on like the type of ball.
So it's almost, hold on, D. It's almost like, cause I play golf. So it's almost like, hey, you playing with Titleist balls.
Exactly.
And you out there with Walmart balls. That's
100%. Yeah. There, I mean, like there's like, for instance, like this is like a Franklin ball, right? Franklin, traditionally tennis. And this ball is like probably one of the cheaper balls you can buy. I like them. They last, a pretty good amount of time. but this ball probably costs like $1.50 per ball. But then you talk about like the Pro V1 style of pickleballs, that's like $3 a ball, $3.50 a ball. And it's like, that's like what the pros are playing with and that kind of stuff. So
okay, this is my question, man. We all play wiffle ball, right?
Yep. Yep.
You know the movement on a wiffle ball.
Yep.
You're pitching it. With the size of the court, and you still get that kind of ball movement in pickleball? Or is it
Definitely.
just too close to where you can get into it? Because, when you play wiffle ball, someone pitches it, the ball can almost look like it's coming towards your head.
Yep.
And then it'll drop in. And you're like, what the hell? What? Right?
Yep.
Does that happen in pickleball? Where it's like the ball, if you angle, I guess you spin it or whatever.
Yeah, I would say it happens a decent bit from further distance. When you're closer up to each other, because the holes are like pretty even, it stays pretty true, so it stays pretty straight. Okay. But I mean, good players, you can slice it really good, similar to tennis, I would say, in the way that you're able to, really get some good spin on things and everything. And again, that has to do with the type of paddle, right? So if you've got a paddle that's got like a good, grit on it, you're gonna be able to get some really good spin. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool. Yeah. No, that's cool.
Man. Yeah,
that's funny. That is absolutely. Because that spin on that type of ball can really like have you looking like a nut. You can like actually miss the ball.
Totally. Yeah. Well, and that's the hard part too, right? Like when you think about tennis, even, right? Like tennis has similar tracking to like a baseball, right? And so it's woven and bound the same. So when it's spinning, you can kind of tell a little easier. At least I grew up playing tennis, and I could see those spins better. But when the spin is coming on the pickleball, it's kind of hard to read. And so there's times where it's bouncing, and you're like, oh man, like that thing's flying forward, that thing's curving this way. So good players can really mess with someone if you can't read the ball right.
Evan, if you could,
one bounce rule.
I was about to ask him about the. Now I was just going to ask him, can you give like a simplistic rules of pickleball for those that don't know how to play? I actually watched a video on YouTube a couple of days ago, so I can prepare for you. And like I said, similar to tennis, it looks like it has a little bit of both. Can you just, in layman's terms, break it down? And the scoring too, because I was a little confused about the scoring too.
And the width of the court, man. Just real quick, 4 courts in one tennis court. That's wow. I mean, that's how how many courts you could put in a pickleball courts you could put in a tennis court. Found out.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, it's 4 courts. Really? Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, and that's why a lot of like city parks, I'll get to your question, Kevin. Like that's why like a lot of city parks are starting to convert tennis courts, and it's a big debate happening within parks and stuff right now. But if you're trying to get people outside, right, and you're trying to get people moving, but if people aren't going to play tennis, like if they put 4 pickleball courts in there and it gets people out in the park, gets people out there in the playground, like they're gonna do it. And so that's what's happening right now. Like there was literally where I am in Florida, there was a big council that happened, and they eliminated one of the tennis courts, and it was a big deal. I mean, this is people who have been like here for 30 years and are like, let's have, more tennis courts. And I mean, I'll be honest, like I never saw people on those courts.
They're not using them, Evan. I got one right down the block. They're not using them.
No one's using it. And if it is, it's like a coach coming out there with his like, student, and that's it. So it's like, we can get on that same court. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love tennis, but we can get on that same court, like, let's say if it's 4 courts, we got 4 people playing. Like we got, a lot of people coming out just for that one day. So yeah, it's crazy. But so Kevin, to your point, so I'll explain it because I've had to explain it to a lot of people, and I've had to teach a lot of people how it's kind of laid out. So you can think of it like a combination of tennis and ping pong. That's what I always say. So, or table tennis. So, it's a smaller court. It's going to be similar rules to tennis where you're going to serve diagonally. So same kind of thing. It's going to be similar rules to tennis where, in tennis, you have to serve and it has to land right in that little pocket right there, just past the net. In pickleball, it has to serve past that little pocket. So similar kind of idea. It's always going to be one bounce every single time, right? It can only be one bounce. You can still hit it out of the air like you can do within tennis. So these are all very similar things to tennis. Similar to
you can volley. You can volley.
Yep. Yeah, you can volley. You can volley. The issue with pickleball is there's this little section in the front of the court, and this is honestly helpful if people are learning. You just got to Google it. But there's a little section. It's called the kitchen. And people call it, like, the actual name was like the non-volley zone, right? So you can't volley in that area. But the kitchen, that's the actual name. So you cannot volley when you're in the kitchen. You can step in the kitchen all day long. You could play the whole game in there if you wanted, but that's not great, because someone can obviously hit you, and then you can't volley it there. So so you can't step in the kitchen when you're volleying. So that's kind of like the general gist. But basically, the way pickleball is typically won is at the kitchen line. So you're going to see it's very different than tennis, right? Tennis, you're staying back at the baseline. You're hitting it. You're waiting for the ball to come back. You're hitting it. You're waiting for the ball to come back. You usually don't make a move up to the line in tennis until you know that you've got a really good opportunity to put it away. In pickleball, you're going to want to start at the back line, and then you are going to make your way to that kitchen line as soon as you possibly can, because what's called dinking, which is just, you can think of it like lightly hitting the ball over the net. That's going to be where most of the points are won. So when you watch pickleball, you mostly see people within that like little tight space dinking the ball, right, hitting it just barely over the net, bouncing, and then they're speeding it up really fast, volleying back and forth. So that's kind of the way that I like to explain it. Did that make sense? Did that help?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now the scoring thing, I'll touch on that briefly, because that's, if I'm honest, like, that's one of the hardest things in pickleball. It really is. Like, learning the scoring, it makes no sense when you first.
I just told the guys, I said, the scoring's a little crazy.
It's crazy, man. So
that third number, I just don't understand what's the significance of.
Carry the 5.
Yeah. So the way I like to explain it is, similar to like any other sport, right? You've got your score, you've got your opponent's score, and if you were saying like, Eagles won, 25-15, you would say Eagles won 25-15. And so there's always going to be two scores, right? So think about it that way. And then in pickleball, there's a third number at the end. So let's break off that third number and just say, okay, I'm playing Kevin right now, and let's say we're on a team, or I'm playing against him, and we have 1 point, Kevin's got 2 points. So I'm going to say 1-2. Okay, I got 1 point, Kevin's got 2 points. Now the third number is what server I am. So in pickleball, each person on your team, when you're playing doubles, each person on your team gets to serve, right? So if Kevin and I are on the same team, I get to serve, and then I keep serving as long as we keep winning, right? If we keep winning the points, right, like we win the point, I keep serving. As soon as we lose the point, right, then it's Kevin's turn to serve. So if I'm serving, I'm the first server. Kevin is now the second server. So that third number is what server you are, 1 or 2. So if I'm serving, I might say the score is 1. We have 1. You guys have 2. 1. So 1-2-1. We have 1. They have 2. I'm the first server. We mess up. It's now Kevin's turn to serve. He'll say 1-2-2. He's the second server. 1 point for us, 2 points for them. He's the second server. So it takes a little bit getting used to. And honestly, that's like what I always tell people when they start playing pickleball is like, just ask questions. Like when you're out there, be like, I don't know how the scoring works. You got to tell me. You're gonna have to help me out here. And everyone knows it's like, kind of like the black sheep of pickleball. It's one of the hardest things to do.
Is there a way, maybe, and I'm not trying to change the sport, that they can simplify that?
Here you go.
Kevin with his shit. God damn. Game has been around since 1960 something.
Here you go. We change the game.
I'm just saying, can we just? I don't know. But it's kind of like so. I get it. So you can only. I do know this. You can only get points when you're serving. Correct. All right. So I did understand. Kind of like tennis, right? When you have the advantage, serve, you get the point. Right. Yep. Okay. I do understand that. Right. I guess I'll get it.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. The one wrench I will say is that there is rally scoring in some tournaments. So it would be you would score every time, but that's not really one that happens. So yeah, you can think of it the way you said, Kevin.
Okay. Now rally scoring. Okay. Nah, I like the authentic way, man. I like the I like the authentic way. Let me go international. Will pickleball be a Olympic sport? You think?
It is. They got international. They got 5 leagues.
I said Olympics. Was it an Olympics?
I think it will be Olympics. It's not going to be in LA, which sucks because they just announced that it's not going to be part of the LA Olympics. Okay. Which is unfortunate because there was like, you know, I mean, don't get me wrong, like there's other things in there. Like, I mean, like I love skateboarding, I love that kind of stuff, but like table tennis is in there, tennis is in there, like pickleball, you know, break dance is in there. You know, like
take that out. They could take that out and insert.
Well, maybe
at least Australia. Take Australia out.
I was gonna say Australia's got to be probably finding some new people.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. That was awful.
But man, I do think it will be an Olympic sport. I really do. I mean, like, I think it's gonna be one of those situations where like the Olympic Committee is gonna be like, I mean, shit, we got to put it in, right? Like every country's playing it. Like our hands are forced, right? You know, we have. Puerto Rico's getting big. Canada's getting big. You know, a lot of the Asian countries are getting big. Australia just picked up their league now. They've got a Australian pickleball league. So I think it's going to be a situation where it's going to be like, I mean, if you keep avoiding it, like, you know, I'm sorry, but like it's more exciting than archery. I don't know.
Shots fired.
No, my mistake. I thought pickleball was already added to the Olympics.
Evan, like, yo, what the hell I do to Evan, man? Why?
I know,
hey,
man.
You see what I do, man?
He's listening to pod right now. Yeah, he's listening to pod. He's like, man, don't have this guy on again, man.
He said, why? Hey, man, shots fired straight. This guy hit a bunch of archers somewhere. Like, what the hell, dude? Yeah, but no, I totally agree because I can watch pickleball on ESPN3 because I get ESPN3, and it's crazy. The enthusiasm is nuts. Like people that don't look like they're like those the guys and ladies are like animals out there, and like you guys are only 10 feet apart, man.
Yeah.
Like, and when you're good, they stay in right outside the kitchen.
Yeah.
Like they don't move. Now, if you can get the other team to move off that line, then it looks like you're gonna get a chance to win, right? If you can get maybe a pop. Now, are the outs the same way as tennis? Like, so if you hit it over their head, they're standing right on the line at the kitchen, and you hit it over their head, it still has to land within the court, the first bounce.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Else,
exactly.
It's out like it is in tennis. Okay.
Yep. Exactly like tennis. Same thing. Like, if I were to hit the ball and then it hits you in the chest, right? That's going to be my point because it hit you. So yeah, pretty much all of the same ins outs. That's all the same.
Gotcha.
This is
yeah.
That's hard to do. It looks like.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. So Evan, so if I hit you with the ball hits you. That's their point or my point?
That's your point. That's your point. So there's like some people in pickleball that it's called body bagging somebody when you just speed up the ball and you just try to hit them as hard as you can.
Let's go.
And
so there is some physical. There is some physical.
100%.
That's physical.
100%.
That's criminal, man. What the hell is physical?
Yeah. And there's people.
Shit is that?
There's people that are going to be trying to body bag every time. Like they're going to see you and they're going to be like, "Oh man, he's not ready." Like I'm going to try to hit him every time. And people be aiming.
So that is part of the gamesmanship and not frowned upon. You're saying?
I wouldn't say it's not frowned upon, but I wouldn't say it is frowned upon. I would say it's like if you don't want to do it a ton, but it's definitely one of those things where if you're trying to make a statement to somebody, this is the thing you're gonna do.
Evan, so you're saying, right? I'm a new guy, right?
Yeah.
I'm 55 years old, so I'm a new guy, and I get on the court with some old 80-year-old lady. He's gonna say, "Yo, I body bag that fool. Yo, I just body bag that fool."
Hey, as long as you're not using a Canyon paddle, then I'm good.
Yeah, don't use it already.
I'm not sending you.
Hey, Evan, I'll just turn it around so they won't see the canyon. They'll see the beautiful picture. But hey, what kind of racket is that? None. I got no rackets. I got an old lady saying, "Yo, body bag that fool right there." So what?
Wow.
You know what's fun, man? The
I just
funniest thing though
started.
too is like as you're playing too, and you start seeing more like types of people. I have found that like the older crowd, that it's like 70 plus, they are the ones that get upset if you play down to them, and they will try to do it to you. Right? They're going to try to hit the hard shots to you. They're going to try to like play as aggressive for you. And I
They said
played
they
down.
ain't want no handicap, man. No handicap for them. Yeah,
100%. Yeah, 100%. And like I played down, and I've had someone literally tell me like, "No, play for real." And I'm like, "Okay, all right, let's go."
You taking it easy on me.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Come on, fool. Hey, fool. They get all LA on you. Hey, fool. I'm about to body bag you, fool.
Oh.
What? God, Granny. Grandma.
Randy.
Come on.
Man, this has been
No, we weren't going to do that this time.
body bag.
Well, and it's funny too, because like this ball, because it's got the holes, you'll also like imprint somebody, similar to like getting hit in baseball when you get laced
get
up
a
on your leg or
raspberry.
something. Man,
Yeah,
I mean, like you'll see someone lift up their shirt and it's just got like 10 holes on their stuff.
It's
like Swiss, like Swiss cheese, just like straight on the stomach.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You got body bag, didn't you? Yeah, it was that old lady over there. Not playing with her no more.
Gretchen over there, man. She just body bagged me yesterday.
She killed me yesterday. I'm not playing with her no more.
Oh, Gretchen.
I don't want to play against Gretchen no more.
Yeah. How did you go about starting the business? When did you go about starting a business between you and your business partner? I mean, you told us a little bit. Just dive into a little bit of when and how you started this.
Yeah. So we started it basically like April of this year. We didn't actually launch the paddles until the 4th of July. And it just happened to be that way. We had an issue with our inventory and everything. But basically, once we kind of had an idea for the brand, we started putting out requests for proposals for manufacturers, and we started looking online for different manufacturers. We were kind of knew like what type of paddles we wanted, because I had a lot of experience with what would be good for a beginner and intermediate player. And so we really just started kind of moving the wheels from there. And then once we got the designs, lined up, which again, like what I always tell people within, when you're starting, especially an e-commerce business, is like, decide what you're good at, decide what you want to learn, and then outsource the rest, right? Like you can learn what you want to learn, and you can be good at what you're good at. But like, if you don't want to learn it and you're not good at it, do not try to take it on yourself unless, I mean, obviously, like, if there's money involved, that's one thing. But like, we used Upwork, we used Fiverr to hire a graphic designer for, $100, and they, created some awesome designs. We had them, create, a landing page for us that was like designed really well. So that was the biggest thing, was like knowing what we each want to spend time on. But like, I had no interest in like, Facebook ads, but my co-founder, he loved it. So he was geeking out on that. He loved doing it. But I love doing social media. I love doing stuff like this. He didn't love doing that at all. So you kind of figure out like what works best. But so
finding out what you're good at, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
And so once we got launched in July, it just started taking off from there.
So you're saying your partner, he won't come on the show and talk to us?
Well, honestly, he always talks about how he hates being on camera, and he always jokes like, if you're on our Instagram, he's always like, man, like I don't know if I even want like my face on there, just because he's a very kind of intimate, kind of more quieter person in that way. He's from New York. He's up in Queens.
We
super
talk
nice
about
guy.
that.
Yeah. But yeah. He's not as big of a fan of being on camera, which I get it.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Well, we'll have to do that. Go ahead, D. You had something?
No, I was just saying, got you, man. This is so interesting to me, man. And before you got on, Daryl was doing his deep dives. He's like, "Yo, D, you got like one right up the block. You got one, about quarter mile from your house, where I live at." So I'm gonna go out there this weekend, man. After I come from the gym, and I may go straight from the gym out there to see what's going on. I don't have a racket, but I will order my $50, $60 Canyon, and then I'll start to get it in, man, because I'm already stinking from the gym. So may as well go out there and play a little bit, man, if anybody will play with me. Teach
Hey
me,
man,
at least show me.
maybe not this week. It's going to be a little bit cooler in the Carolinas, man. So
Yeah,
it's supposed to drop down unless they got an indoor.
Oh, okay. Then,
They do have some
Find the
indoor.
indoor.
They
Man.
probably do
They
up
got
here.
some indoor. Yeah, they got indoor.
They got
They
indoor.
probably do
Okay.
up here. So,
Yeah, for
they
sure.
probably
Yeah.
do up here. And
Yeah.
we got
Is
an
there?
indoor tennis facility. So,
Mhm.
Oh, that's about to be pickleball. D Dubs, we should look into buying that tennis court, man. That turn to
Yeah, I'm
pickleball.
telling you,
Man,
man.
if
Yeah, you might have to holler at them down there.
the biggest,
Like, yo,
the
y'all, it's a
biggest like
waste of space.
yeah, man. I mean, like the biggest investment thing right now that's happening is a lot of investors are buying out old malls, right? J.C. Penney's and Dillard's,
Yes.
and they're just like gutting them out and they're turning them into pickleball facilities. They're turning them into basically like,
Recreation.
a pickleball like facility similar to like a Topgolf where you can go, you can have fun, get food, get drinks. You can rent out a court for $100 an hour or whatever, and then
Good
you
date
can,
night. Take your missus there. Yeah.
yeah,
Get the
Pickleball
moving. Get
is
the family moving.
yeah,
Take the wife there and
So-
beat the living crap out of her.
Yeah.
body back, right?
try to get some redemption after Gretchen just crawling
Hey,
over
listen,
you again,
you're on the way home and
Hope you
she's
call
not
the
talking
police
to you.
to you would not be calling the
You
police
get
at
to
the
talk.
pickleball.
Man,
Yeah,
I tell you what,
I
tell you what though, there's like very few couples that I know that play together. Very, very few. I mean,
Really?
it's like of all of my friends that have a partner, they do not play with their partner, and their partner usually plays with someone else, and it's always because like either one is too competitive, one's not competitive enough, one is telling the other one what to do, and so I like never see couples playing together. Honestly.
I've been married a long time, and I bet you I could tell you who's telling who what to do. So,
Yeah,
you're doing that wrong.
You do.
You're too close to the kitchen. You back up from the kitchen.
Stop body bagging her.
Yeah,
you
you
leave
don't know
Rhonda.
nothing. Jordan, you always think you know everything. You don't know nothing. I'm saying, but I just was trying to play. No, that's not the way you do this.
This is not the
How
way.
the hell you know? I was looking in the book. You looking in the book while we was playing? What the hell you talking about? You looking in the book? Okay.
Evan, let me ask you this. So, you got your paddle, you got your gear on, you're going out to the pickleball place 5 minutes from the house.
Without your wife. Yeah.
Right?
Without the wife.
You get your ball. Like, how does that? I mean, I guess like any other sport, right? You go there, you be like, hey, I'm looking to play, whatever. Hey, I never played. I'm all geared out. I'm ready to go.
Yep.
It's like the pickleball community. Are they? How would you say the pickleball community is?
Yeah. So the pickleball community, and I mean, I've been a part of like, you think about like the running community or out just like any type of community I've been a part of. I would say the pickleball community is like the most welcoming. And I think it's because, again, it's a melting pot, right? I mean, you've literally got, like I said, like a person from every background, like every type of environment coming in and they're playing. And so when someone walks up to the court, literally, like if you see, like, for instance, if we see someone walking up that looks a little more beginner or has never been there before, we'll walk up and we'll say like, hey, have you been here before? And they're like, oh no, like I just got my, literally like what you said, Kevin, I just got my paddle. I'm not really sure what to do. And I'm like, oh yeah, come over here. So if you want to be next up, you can put your paddle in here. And then, a lot of times we'll even be like, hey, why don't you play with this person? Because, they can kind of show you around a little bit, kind of show you like how to play and stuff. But a lot of times at courts, there will be like a beginner court area. And then usually, again, someone's kind of like an ambassador a little bit of that court who goes every day, who's there all the time. And so I've played in Colorado, I've played in Florida, I've played all over. And I've never been to a court that didn't have some sort of like person kind of coming over to like a newbie and saying like, hey, let me help you out a little bit. So you literally just got to show up, you've got your paddle, you're like, hey, I'm new, like how do I get in a game? And you can say like, I've never played before, and then they're gonna be like, oh, okay, cool, yeah, why don't you play with these guys? So that's honestly what's gonna be.
I'm just gonna get a hat that says I'm brand new to pickleball.
Yeah.
They take it to the court and they send you there. You played against those 5-year-olds. Like, okay, he's must be new.
No, the 5-year-olds will be too good. The 5-year-olds will be too good.
Probably.
Because they've been playing for 5 years, probably.
Yeah, you're like, Evan, why are you putting me with this kid? He's killing me. Body bagged me 6 times. It hurts. But yeah, if they got the experience, and that's the thing. Like I said, like you said, all sports, all kids, all people of different ages will play each other because it's that type of game that you can grasp onto and get better at. Not quickly, it'll take time because it's a smaller court, which means your reaction time has to be actually faster than the tennis players.
Totally.
Though you're not maybe moving the same amount of distance left to right laterally, but and eye coordination, you've got to be way quicker. Because
Definitely.
if they're
Yeah,
if they're right outside the kitchen and you are, that ball is you guys are less like 10 feet apart.
Yeah. I mean, and there's been studies that have been coming out saying that people that play racket sports and paddle sports like racquetball, table tennis, pickleball, they have, I want to say it was like an average of 7.5 years longer lifespan because it is just training your brain so much. It's activating so many neurons in your brain to actually get it firing so much quicker. So you're doing so many complex tasks, right? That's what they say about brain health and everything. I'm not a doctor. These are things I've read.
Yeah.
But it talks about that, right? About being able to fire different tasks at one point in time. And so, pickleball is great for the brain, great for everything, honestly.
Man, this has just been totally fascinating. Go, D-Dubs, you had something? I'm sorry.
No, I just think it's dope, man, because for the simple fact that the kids got something else to do other than they don't have to be 6'5", they don't have to be a certain stature. They can still get out and play, and I think another option because now with all this stuff going on, how some parents don't want the kids to play this sport, that sport, whatever. This is still able to get you active, still be able to get a little bit of physicality towards it, body bag, so you still got a little bit of everything. So and like I said, get your mind active and get those the brain activity going. So I think it's a cool thing. Cool thing.
One of the last things I'll say too on that was like, if you watch the World Series, there was an interview with Mookie Betts, and they asked him what he did during the off season, and he said pickleball, and he honestly said it best. He's like, he was an ambassador and didn't even realize it, but what he said was, I'm able to go. No one even knows who I am. They just know that I come and play pickleball, and then I leave and I go home.
Yeah.
And like literally, he's like, I just show up, I play pickleball. I'm playing with a 12-year-old kid, and I'm playing with Gretchen down the street. And no one knows that I'm Mookie Betts, and I can just go home.
I like that name, Gretchen.
And like whenever I want to go out there and I just want to get moving, I want to be able to be around people, but not have to like necessarily have like best friends come at us. I mean, you can, but it's just such a great sport. So yeah, I mean,
let your head down. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
it's funny you said that.
Pro athletes.
Yeah, go ahead, D. I'm sorry.
I heard a lot of pro athletes. Marcellus Wiley, there's a bunch of dudes.
Dirk is playing a bunch.
Pro sports. Yeah, they play pickleball now because it kind of scratches that itch of competition, but they don't have to be overly, like Super Bowl trying to win a game, but you're going to be competitive. You're going to do the best you can. And, sometimes it's learning a new thing, right? A new challenge, man. Okay, you did this, you're an IT guy, you program. Now you do this to, because it's a challenge. It's something new. It's something. Again, I'm on it, man. Believe me, you're gonna get my order. So I'm buying me maybe one or two. No, one. But if I get two, then my wife's gonna want one.
You gotta get two for the wife. Yeah.
No, I'm gonna get one.
If she hears this tonight, you're gonna get two.
You gotta get two.
I'm trying to get that Amazon one, so I'll get beat the brakes off.
And body bagger.
Yeah,
body bagger, boy. Beat the
Evan, we got
off.
some people down in Orlando. My man, he plays pickleball. He said,
"Yes, shout out to Mike Crystal." Yes,
he beats up on the older people down there. So yeah, so I'm gonna have to give me a paddle and go down there and play him.
Oh man, I love it.
I do have one serious question. How the federations, how are they connected? What is the, and I don't know if it may not matter to you because you don't want to be a pro, but just as far as like, okay, International Pickleball Federation, USA Pickleball Federation, World Pickleball Federation, Global Pickleball Federation, Pickleball International Committee, Major League Pickleball. How do they or do they connect?
Yeah,
Anywhere?
yeah.
Is that part of the or are these just really different organizations that like don't work with each other?
Yeah. So, I mean, kind of along the lines of some of the other stuff we were talking about, like it's still evolving. There is Major League Pickleball. There is the Professional Pickleball Association, the PPA and the MLP. They recently merged together. They were separate leagues. So basically, you had like, you can think of it like we had like the Kevin Durant in the MLP, and then we had LeBron in the PPA,
Gotcha.
and it wasn't really driving interest in the sport because people didn't know enough about it, and they're like, well, I don't really know this, so why would I watch this and not this? So they combined the two leagues, so now we have one. But there's a lot of issues with that because obviously there was like different governing bodies with each one. There is like a World Pickleball kind of federation forming. So a lot of that is still evolving, and honestly, like I'm not really sure where it's going to shake out because that's really the hard part. Is like what I don't want to happen with pickleball, which I don't think it will, but there is a lot of comparisons to pickleball with soccer, and youth soccer in the US has always been one of like the biggest sports that kids play, right? Everyone played soccer growing up. Everyone kicked the ball around, got into little soccer leagues and stuff. But then it never translated into viewability in the States, right? Soccer never
Right,
picked up.
right.
I mean, unless we're in the World Cup and we're actually about to win, no one's watching as often. And that sucks because I love soccer and I love watching it. But what I don't want to have with pickleball is that where we have millions and millions and millions of pickleball players, but no one's watching the game. So that needs to be, and that is an active conversation of how can viewership get up, right, without making it kind of like kitschy, right, where it's like not
Yeah.
as serious, right? It's still competitive. It's still showing all of that aspect of it. So that's honestly, yeah, I'm really curious to see how that's going to start to shake out.
Man,
Cool.
that's cool. But you talking about how it translate, man. You talked about soccer. You go to the Orlando SC games, Orlando City SC games.
Yeah, I actually haven't been to a game. I've been here for 2.5 years. I need to make it out to a city game or to a Pride game. Yeah, I haven't, but yeah, I mean, I actually used to work for the Houston Dynamo, so soccer has always kind of been part of me. And then I've got a lot of friends that still work in sports. I actually got my start in sports. I worked for the Phoenix Suns for a year and a half, then worked for the Houston Dynamo. Okay. So my major in school was sports management, but honestly had no idea that I would start my own sports brand eventually. So.
Oh, that's good. Hey, man.
This
Progress,
is
brother. Progress.
Yeah, it's funny.
progress, definitely. What's your favorite sport when you was coming up? When you was growing up, what did you like?
Man, baseball for sure. Baseball was my sport. I was kind of the classic. Like, thought I was going to go pro. I was a lefty pitcher. But had a really say again.
I said southpaw. There you go.
Yeah, I was a southpaw. I only clocked out at like 88, but I had a wicked 12-6 curveball that I could throw. And I had a great high school career. Wanted to go play, past high school, and then I had some like really small opportunities like JUCO and stuff. But I went to a small high school in South Dallas, and I wanted to go to a big university, so I went to Oklahoma State. And then I actually tried to walk on at OSU just to be like, you know what, let's just see, like for shits and giggles, let's just see if I make it, great. If I don't, whatever. And I show up, like, here's a small little story. I show up, and little did I know that they were only taking one pitcher, and there was like 20 pitchers. And I was like, all right, well, like, let's see what happens. And I kid you not, I throw my bullpen session. It goes pretty well. I throw like one pitch kind of in the dirt, but it wasn't that bad. And I was like, all right, I'm feeling pretty good. The next guy that comes in, he throws probably minimum 97, 98, probably 10 in a row. And I literally look at the guys behind me that like were still coming up, and I was like, there's no way. Like, there's no way any of us are getting taken. And sure enough, it was that one guy who threw 97. So at that point, I kind of knew my career was done.
Because that's what they want nowadays. And I think, in my opinion, we're all first baseball dudes. So when you said the Mookie Betts thing, we're all Yankee fans up here. So yeah, that definitely.
That's my co-founder's a Yankees fan, man. He's a Yankees guy.
But we're going back, bouncing back before between Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts, I read something where he was an all athlete in high school. He played anything, basketball, you name it, baseball, you name it, football, you name it. He was dope in all those and all those sports, man. So yeah, shout out to that. And getting back to your point about the baseball, I don't think nowadays they just want guys to throw 105 miles an hour. I don't think they want pitchers. There's a difference between somebody throwing heat and doing like the Greg Maddux thing, and he's in and out doing Tom Glavine, from a lefty perspective. And I can go on my tangent about analytics in baseball and all that stuff, but we won't do this because we're talking pickleball tonight. And
yeah.
well, we'll do that, man. We'll definitely do that, man. Let me shout out Evan. Let me bring this up here. Make sure y'all go to Canyon Pickleball on it. Let me bring it up here on the screen. Let me share my screen here for a second. There you go. Make sure y'all go to this website. Is that it? Yeah, that is. Yeah.
Make sure you got it right, brother.
Yeah.
Put up somebody else's stuff up there.
That's what I was looking for. I was looking for that screen. That's what I had up there before. Make sure you go to this Canyon Pickleball, and you can get everything when it comes to pickleball. It says play with a purpose. Shop the gear. Make sure if you want to do it, like you said, it doesn't require a lot. You can walk on out there. The pickleball community, they're very, very welcoming. Hey, it's my first day out here. I want to play a game of pickleball, man, and go out there, get fit, and in the words of D Dubs, man, get moving. I think we said it before that Americans need to start moving more. And you don't have to be a star, but just go out there and get moving. And I'm definitely a proponent of this, man. Evan, this has been really great.
Fantastic.
I'm glad we connected on that's what we love, man. We just love doing conversations and talking about this, man. And listen, kudos to you for all that you've done with your company here, and blessings to you and your family that you continue to strive forth and keep on doing great things in the pickleball community. And listen, like I said, I'm always up in the Orlando area, so I got your information, man. We're gonna hang out. I'm gonna grab Mike Bristol too, and we're gonna play pickleball because
pickleball.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make my order this weekend, brother.
Yeah.
I made my order this weekend.
Final thoughts from the guys. D Dubs, go ahead. What you got for us? And I'll give it back to Evan.
Yeah, nothing too heavy, man. This has been great. Great education of the pickleball community. I'm doing some research now. They're looking like they're saying, hey, Evan, 2032 possibly going to the Olympics. So we'll see. Cross your fingers, hopefully. Yeah. So get some more eyes on it, and definitely, man. You never know how this thing goes, and shout outs to everybody. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I can get out there easy on my shoulder, man. I just had rotator cuff surgery, so it should be a little bit easy on the rotator cuff, man. We'll get on out there, man. I definitely love your product. Your product is nice, man. Nice designs and everything.
Thank you.
Gotcha. DA, what you got for us?
Man, thank you for the education, for the conversation, for the education. Really appreciate it. I want everyone who sees this to give it a try. I'm pretty sure you can go out there with no paddle and someone will let you hold theirs for a minute.
100%.
And just go try it, man. Go try it, and then go to Canyon, go to the website, and buy your paddle, get your goggles, and get on out there and play, man, so you don't get bodied.
Evan, you might have to put some goggles on.
Man.
Hey, Evan, we just got you some good promo, man. Some good merch, body bag, yo.
I know.
That's a t-shirt, bro.
I know. Apparently, man. I mean, honestly, thank you guys so much for having me on. This has been great. The fact that I get to just like chat about, pickleball, is just incredible. So I'm extremely thankful, and I just can't wait to, start seeing more and more people get out there. And if people are listening to this and they want to get in touch with us, feel free to reach out. I mean, I'm shipping these things out of my garage, right? I mean, you are talking to me when you reach out. So, if anyone has any questions, they can always reach out to me. But we're excited to get more people into the game. So.
make sure that all of our family, the Sports Chasers family, the links, all the Evan's links will be in the description on the podcast side and on the YouTube side as well. As this goes out, man, this has been great. Like you said, the information, education, awareness of pickleball, man. I'm geeked. I too had rotated cuff surgery, so I got to wait a little bit because I'm still a little sore. So I got to wait probably after January, February. I'll be out there. But I got my paddle, man. I might just walk out there this weekend, just say, hey, how y'all doing, man?
Yeah,
you know, you scoring? How you score there?
Switch arms. Just switch arms. You know, just use the other arm.
Become a southpaw. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you're good, man.
Man, this has been great. Listen, Evan, we might probably have to do this again, man. But once this stuff becomes even more popular, man, talk about the popularity of pickleball, man. So, hey, make sure you like, click, and subscribe to the channel. As I said before, make sure on the podcast side, man, you subscribe to and download the Sports Chasers podcast. And as our main man says in the introductions, man, hey, we cover all sports. And as you can see, we cover pickleball tonight, man. So I'm not going to belabor the point, man. On behalf of myself, I'm Kevin L. Warren, your host and moderator, for Darryl D-Dubs Warren, for Dorian O'Britton, the DA, and for our special guest. Hold on, I got to give him some applause for our special guest, man. Shout out to Evan, man. Evan Kuterbach, thank you so much, bro, for coming through, man. Listen, we're going to get out of here. This is the Sports Chasers podcast. Y'all be good. Y'all be blessed. Hey, man, we see you on Thursday night. Peace.
That's a wrap for today's episode of the Sports Chasers podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube and your favorite podcast platforms, and connect with us on all social media channels for exclusive content and updates. We'd also love for you to join the conversation, share your thoughts, and become part of the Sports Chasers community. And remember to tune in next time for some more real sports talk. Until then, stay frosty.